from Michigan's Upper Peninsula. I'm Natasha, your plant-centered lifestyle guide, and you're tuned in to my weekly channel where I provide tips and inspiration for those of you on your plant-centered journey. If you're joining me for the first time, just know that at the end of this video, I provide an excellent explanation of what plant-centered living is all about. Today's video is an extension of a previous video that I did, and that video was called Staging Your Kitchen for Success. Well, I actually wasn't in my kitchen when I recorded that video, and many of you have asked to see my kitchen where I actually do my meal prep. So today we're standing in my kitchen in my 1800s log cabin, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through different parts of my kitchen and why I set them up that way, because it makes them more efficient, it makes the space more fun to be in for me, and I truly enjoy spending time here in the kitchen, and that is a big part of what I talked about in that first video, is you have to enjoy the space that you're in order to want to spend time there. So we're going to start with, over here, this absolutely beautiful fireplace. No, I can't cook bread in here, but it does keep the kitchen warm in the very cold Upper Peninsula winters. And then in front of it here, I have a mobile island. This is incredible. Because it's such a small space, what this does is it allows me to have a towel rack on this side for paper towels. I'm going to turn it a little and you can see over here I have my towel for drying my dishes. And then all of my pot lids, my pan lids, are over here. And that's something, those are always such a pain to store. Additionally, in the center, I have some of the larger pots and pans that won't fit other places. And then down here, in this nice container, I store napkins, my cloth napkins. Now, as we go through my kitchen, you're going to see that pretty much everything is in containers. And the reason that it's in containers is because when you live in a late 1800s log cabin, you oftentimes share that with critters like mice and squirrels, and they have a tendency to wreak havoc on things. But if they're in containers, I'm usually pretty safe. Now, up above me, I also have a hanging pot rack. This is great because, again, it allows me to have more space in my kitchen. If you head over this way, again, I have built-in shelves on the wall here for all my mugs, and then I made use of the underside of those shelves for more mugs. And then over here, if we look underneath the sink, I can show you some of the things that I've done to make things easier. I have put everything in totes, like this says dishcloths, towels, and mats. So again, I know exactly what's in here. It's easy for me to grab it when I need it. I even have things like here, my cleaning supplies, right in a tote as well. Makes it very, very easy to find things when I need it. Now, this is something that I started a couple years ago and I absolutely love. So you see I have this plastic dishpan. I keep it right here in my sink. And the reason I do that is because I can put my dirty dishes directly into it, and when it's full, I can just simply bring it up here, and now my sink space is ready for me to wash dishes. Or if I only have a few dishes, I can actually do them right in this pan, and I don't have to waste water by filling up this larger sink. So this has worked really well for me, and maybe it would work well for you. Now, over here, I have kind of, I would say, I don't know, one of my favorite parts of the kitchen. And this is my herb and spice rack. And the reason I like this so much is because they are in jars that are a little bit larger. And these little bit larger jars allow me to actually take the top off and then scoop down in them, rather than trying to pour out of a small jar and have things go all over the place. And me being who I am, I'm an organized person. All of these are in alphabetical order, which makes it very quick to locate. And then what I do is I like to keep the tools that I use a lot, I keep them on little hooks right here by my sink so I can easily grab them. And then over here, this is a towel drying rack or a bag drying rack, and the great thing about this one is that it folds up against the wall, so it makes for much more room here on the counter. I also have this bag drying rack that I featured in my last video that my father made that has movable parts so that you can dry either bags or bottles on this. So another thing that I've done is I've made the best use of my vertical space because I don't have a lot of room. And so everything is pretty much out on shelves. And I do want to point out that pretty much everything here in the kitchen, with a few exceptions of some larger appliances, have all been purchased secondhand at yard sales, thrift shops. It's really important to me that I try to buy used as much as possible. Additionally, I do want to point out that these counters are made from a large white pine that was across the driveway from my house here. And they were built by my mom and dad. So again, this is wood from our property, and that feels really good. Underneath here, again, I want to show you, I made well, actually my dad made a shelf under here that I could put some of my larger baking pans. And then down below I have my plastic storage containers, Ziploc bags, and again, they're all labeled for easy use and critter proof because they are in these plastic containers. While we're down here, we might as well look at the compost bucket. So right underneath here, I have my compost bucket, and directly above that is kind of the crowning glory, I would say, of my kitchen. This is a 1920s chopping block, and I love this. It makes chopping vegetables so nice. And then having my compost bucket right underneath is very efficient. You can see back here, there is the knife rack. And these are great. If you don't have one, you find them oftentimes in restaurants, but it's a magnetic strip that holds your knives on there, and it keeps them very neatly displayed and makes it easy so that you don't get cut when you grab them. My food processor and my Vitamix are the two appliances that are my go-tos. I use them almost daily, and I would highly recommend both of those, a high-powered blender and also a food processor. So that has given you kind of a look at my kitchen and how it's set up. It is very small, but it is efficient, and it's a cheery space that I really enjoy spending time in. So until next week, I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.